I found out that my fiance's dad died last month. No one told us, and she missed the funeral. Hi. I don't even really know how to start this or what I'm asking exactly. I guess I just want to understand what happened and maybe get some advice on how to help my fiancé deal with this, because it's just a lot. And I think she's starting to blame herself, which she really shouldn't. So I proposed to my fiancé back in March. Her dad was the only person I talked to beforehand. I asked for his blessing, and he was super kind about it. I only met him a couple of times before that, but we had a good conversation, and I could tell he really loved her. The thing is, I only met his wife, her stepmom, once that same day. It was brief and polite, but that's it. Everything else about our engagement planning and updates was through her dad. Her dad has another kid with a stepmom, a teenage son who is 17. My fiancée always kind of kept some distance from that part of her dad's life. It wasn't like she hated them or anything. It's just that they weren't close. Her dad would check in, sometimes visit her on his own, but it's always kind of felt like he had two separate families. I never really thought too hard about it. It just was what it was. Then in April, while we were starting to figure out the engagement party and save the dates and all of that, he passed away. We didn't even know. We didn't hear anything from anyone. No call, no text, not even a weird silence. Nothing. We only found out this week because one of our cousins posted something online about missing him after the funeral, and my fiancé texted them like, "What do you mean the funeral?" And they were like, "Everyone was surprised that you didn't show." She just shut down. I think she's still in shock. Her dad is gone, and she didn't get to say goodbye. She didn't even get told that he was dead. The funeral already happened. She missed it, and no one told her. Not her stepmom, not even her own brother, not anyone. And what makes it worse is that now she's tried to reach out to people, like cousins, her aunt, even her dad's friend. She keeps getting these weird half-responses that make her feel like she should have known or been there. Like they're judging her for not showing up when nobody invited her in the first place. She keeps asking me if she did something wrong. She's wondering if her dad was mad at her. I do think he was happy for us, but now I don't even know what's true anymore. I guess I just don't understand how something like this happens. I know grief makes people act strange, and there might be stuff we don't know. I don't want to assume the worst about her stepmom. Maybe she was overwhelmed or didn't have our contact info, though I feel like she must have had some way to reach out. But I also don't want to make excuses for someone who let my fiancé find out that her dad died a month later from a Facebook post. It's starting to feel uncomfortably close to full-on evil stepmom territory, and I hate even thinking that, but this just feels so cold. She's devastated, and I don't know what I'm supposed to say or do. I can't fix it. She just keeps saying that she can't believe she wasn't there, that she wasn't even given the chance, and I'm angry too. But mostly I just feel helpless and sad for her. I guess what I'm really asking is, how do I help my fiancé grieve someone that she didn't even get the chance to say goodbye to? She keeps wondering if her dad was upset with her or if she missed some sign, and now the way that her family is reacting is only making her feel worse. I want to support her without making her feel like she has to perform grief on anyone else's timeline or carry blame for something that was never her fault. In the comments, Unique Assumption says, "I am so sorry for what you both are going through. That is absolutely heartbreaking she wasn't told, and frankly, unforgivable in my book. She deserves the chance to say goodbye. The best thing you can do is support her. Maybe try to figure out if he was buried, and if so, maybe try to visit the grave so that she can have some form of closure. If he was cremated, maybe still plan something for her to be able to celebrate him and say goodbye in her own way. Either way, this situation is super fucked up, and she did nothing wrong. The family is seriously messed up for not telling her." OP says, "Thank you so much for saying this. It really means a lot right now. I think hearing someone else call it what it is, unforgivable, helps validate what she's feeling, even though I know that she's still trying to find some reason for why it happened. We've talked about trying to find out where he was buried, but it's so hard to even know where to start when no one is talking to her. I think you're right though. She needs a way to say goodbye, whatever that ends up looking like. I just don't want her carrying this weight like she did something wrong because she didn't. Unique Assumption replies, 100%. You and her are totally validated in how you feel. This is seriously next level wrong of the family. I wish you both healing, and I really hope she's able to find some way to say goodbye. And I'm sure it's impossible for her to see right now, but she didn't do anything wrong, and may just need to be reminded of that for a bit. Someone else says, there is a chance that she wasn't informed because of something the stepmom wanted that wasn't left to her or over the division of assets. Check into his will and see, because apart from just being a sack of shit, that's the only reason I can think of for doing this to her. OP says, yeah, that's definitely crossed our minds too. We're not even sure if there was a will, and my fiancé hasn't been told anything about his estate. It's hard to know if this was just emotional distance or if something more intentional was going on. Right now, we're focusing on finding her some peace, but we'll keep that in mind in case anything starts to feel off. Back up to the post. Mini update. I found out where her dad is buried and got contact info for who I think is her half-brother. When I showed her the profile to confirm, she shut down and panicked, but it did confirm for me that it's definitely him. She doesn't want to reach out right now, but I might. I'm gonna need some more information for this one. I just don't believe that no one at all, at any point in time, all collectively chose not to reach out to her. The math ain't mathing. It doesn't make sense. There has to be more to this story. I think she has done something for this to happen. It's one of those scenarios where if everywhere you walk smells like shit, maybe check under your shoe. This is some stranger than fiction kind of shit because I have never heard of an instance like this before. And because of that, it's hard to believe that it's not her fault for doing this. My initial thoughts were the stepmother has poisoned the well and turned everyone against her, but there's no magic power in reality that's strong enough to get an entire community banded together in such a short amount of time to all collectively stonewall the news of a father's passing from that father's child. It's just not a thing. So yeah, I want to know what the hell she's done. And now, onto the update. I contacted her brother. Did I do good? We finally found out where her dad was buried, and I managed to get in touch with her half-brother. When I showed her who I thought it was, she panicked and didn't want anything to do with it. She still doesn't know that I went ahead and talked to him. To be honest, I expected lies or deflection, but what I got was just more frustrating. He was not defensive, just cryptic. He said he knows exactly why her side of the family cut her off, and that she knows too. He wouldn't tell me what it was, and just kept saying that I should ask her because I wouldn't believe him anyway. Then he added sarcastically that if she's even capable of telling me the truth, I would already know. He did say that he'd tried calling and texting her after their dad passed, but she has him blocked on everything. He also said he tried to make sure she was included, but she made it clear a long time ago that she wanted nothing to do with him. He knows that she has always hated him just for existing. He ended the conversation by saying that he was calling her bluff, that she does not really want anything to do with her dad's side of the family. He even asked, did she ever say she was inviting any of them to the wedding? That part stung a little. I will not pretend to know the full story, but I'm starting to feel like this is not a case of one person being awful. It feels more like years of silence and resentment that turned into something cruel. We did get some clarity on the legal side. There probably will not be a fight with the stepmom. The brother told me everything that is needed. We are working with a lawyer, but it will take time. The executor has up to 2 years before probate has to start. Even then, anything she may be entitled to would be split evenly with him and only applies to accounts that were solely in her father's name. We are not expecting anything substantial, but she deserves to know that she was not forgotten. Since real closure is out of reach, we're creating our own. Someone suggested planting a memorial tree. We loved that idea. We're currently looking for a good starter tree, and she's going to write her father a letter to bury under it. It's not a solution, but it's something real and peaceful she can hold on to. There probably will not be another update. I'm realizing that trying to untangle her family's damage might only hurt our relationship. If I want a healthy marriage, I need to protect her peace more than I need to win a fight that was lost a long time ago. In the comments, Daxy Dream says, look, It's pretty telling that nobody told your fiancé about his death. She has aunts, uncles, and cousins, right? Are they all blocked too? Or is there actually a good reason why they didn't contact your fiancé? I suspect you won't have a peaceful marriage when she's been so secretive, and it's pretty obvious that the rest of the family is not on her side. Yup? You mean to tell me that no one from her family could reach out to her or wanted to? Either her entire family and extended family are all assholes, or the wife is the asshole. The latter seems more likely. It sounds like there is her story, their story, and the truth. I don't think you know the truth. I think your fiancé has been selective over what she has told you. That whole shutdown and panicking when you found her half-brother's profile tells me that there is more to this than she has told you. I would want the entire truth before you commit to marriage. Make sure you know who she is and that there are no masks in place. If there is no will, then his wife is actually entitled to everything he owns. If there is a will, then she would only inherit what is specified. Unless she contests the will, his state of mind, can prove that he was manipulated, etc., it's expensive, and chances are she will lose. Why a memorial if she was cut off by her father, or if she cut her father off? And this is OP's comments on the update. They're mostly along the same lines. OP says, yeah, it sounds dramatic because it is. But from what I can tell, she was the one who went no contact, not them. The brother's words felt very carefully chosen, almost like he wanted to stir things up without actually saying anything. The whole "she knows why" line just adds fuel without giving clarity. I get how it all looks, but right now, my priority is supporting her while she grieves. When she's ready to talk, I'll be ready to listen. And now, onto the final update. I've taken time to process everything before writing this because I wanted to be clear-headed and fair. This isn't just about a relationship ending, it's about recognizing how far I'd strayed from myself and what I allowed in the name of love, patience, and hope. After the engagement ended, she moved in with a friend from work, but by then, things had already been unraveling for a while. I had believed that I was being supportive and compassionate, giving her time to grieve and space to share on her own terms. But the truth was, I was being emotionally manipulated. She pretended to want to reconcile with her brother after hearing about her father's death. At the time, it felt like a breakthrough. I thought she was softening, maybe healing, but that was just a performance to win sympathy and deflect hard questions. The more I learned, the clearer it became that she had no real interest in reconnecting, only in looking like the victim. What's hard to admit is how many times she manipulated me subtly, shaping narratives and using silence or emotional withdrawal to make me prioritize her, even over lifelong friends and family. I now see how isolated I became. One friend that I reconnected with after everything joked, "You didn't date her. You ran her PR campaign." It hit harder than I expected, because in some ways, it felt true. There were moments where I wasn't just supporting her, I was constantly explaining basic respect, empathy, and how to show up in a relationship. It started to feel less like a partnership and more like I was trying to teach someone how to be a decent person. That kind of emotional labor takes a toll, and looking back, I can see how much of myself I lost in the process. I had to reach out to her brother initially to confront him, but his response was surprisingly calm and cryptic even. After the breakup, I spoke to him again, and this time he told me the truth. The family had cut her off because of repeated abusive outbursts, not just towards her father, but also towards her stepmother and brother. He said that I wouldn't have seen it because she saved that side of herself for them. He even brought her father's old phone. The texts between her and her dad were awful, cruel, manipulative, and downright abusive. Honestly, I don't even know how or why her dad stayed in contact with her after receiving the things that she wrote. If my own child ever said those things to me, I would have cried and cut contact. No parent deserves that level of cruelty. After her father passed, she started lashing out at me too. That's when the pattern revealed itself. Ironically, she didn't even mind that I spoke to her brother until she found out that I helped him with a scholarship site. And help is a stretch. I mentioned the Common App, something that I always bring up when college comes up in conversation. It's not some special effort. I've told my own cousins the same thing. It's a single application site that makes you sound like you know your stuff and gets kids on track fast. If they apply through it, they're pretty much guaranteed to get into somewhere. She knew this. She had seen me do it with my family, but this time she twisted it in a betrayal like I had committed some criminal offense. She realized I had spoken to her brother because I showed her a Reddit post to help her understand where I was coming from. That is when everything shifted. And even then, I didn't end things immediately. I asked if we could slow down and delay the wedding. Instead of meeting me with honesty or reflection, she shut down and turned hostile. Maybe it was her way of pushing me away, but if so, it worked. After the breakup, she kept reaching out and apologizing, saying she would get help. But I had already asked her to consider therapy earlier in our relationship, and she refused every time. Now that everything has come to light, I can't see myself marrying her, much less raising a child with someone who hides so much, lashes out when cornered, and only offers change when everything is already broken. My family has been nothing but supportive throughout all of this. My sister is even staying with me right now. She joked that it's for my protection, but honestly, it just feels good to have family around again. For the first time in a while, I feel like myself. So that's it. No more what-ifs or excuses, just the truth and a fresh start. There won't be any more updates, as this account serves no purpose anymore. In the comments, Dryaduinth says, "Yep. I mean, this makes sense with everything that came before. Her behavior, her relationships. It makes sense to me for her to have been the instigator more than the victim. The dad loving her but not bringing his wife and son around, the relatives hinting at blame her for not being at the funeral, probably knowing full well that she blocked the people who tried to notify her, the cryptic brother not saying anything specific, the panic and refusing to talk about it makes sense to me. Even her devastation makes sense. Anyone would be devastated. But also, abusers love to feel sorry for themselves. If your partner grows to loathe the people who know your past, great. Makes them easier to manipulate. Someone else says, I feel the same. In the initial post and the first follow-up, it felt like something OP didn't know. It felt like there was something to her behavior that he either didn't know or had been manipulated into overlooking. Really sad for OP. Not surprised at all. I could maybe believe the evil stepmother angle if it was just the stepmother and half-brother involved, but knowing literally no one reached out to her, including aunts, uncles, and cousins, that was so fishy. Like even my maternal grandparents, who were the black sheep amongst their extended families, each had at least one sibling who would keep them informed. Better for OP to figure this all out before marriage and kids. One final act from beyond the grave from her father, getting OP to wake up. And honestly, what a bullet dodged. That is not someone that you should be marrying if they're able to keep up such a charade for so long and then gaslight and manipulate you to plant themselves solely as the victim in this situation. And I was wondering why when the brother said, if I told you the truth, you wouldn't believe me. I was like, why wouldn't I hear him out? Why would I not believe what he has to say if it is to be the truth? And yeah, now I understand. She has manipulated the narrative for so long that it would be so hard in that moment of time to see her as an evil, abusive person because she has not revealed that side of her. Thank you for sharing your story, OP. I hope nothing but the best going forward, and I hope that you find someone that actually values you, for you, and doesn't manipulate and gaslight you. Our next post is by a deleted account, and it's titled, Husband wanted to re-gift the anniversary gift that I bought to him. My 26 female, husband 31 male, is very specific, so getting a gift for him was always a nightmare. We were together for almost 5 years, married for 2. Our second anniversary was a few days ago. I put so much effort into his gift. He's a die-hard fan of one football club. He really loves it and buys a lot of merch. I was looking for something that he doesn't have, and found a 3D puzzle set of that club's stadium. It has 200 pieces, and it takes 2 to 3 hours to put it together. It was expensive AF, but I knew that he would like it, so I ordered it. I even put my mum's address for delivery in case that he was at home when it arrived, so he doesn't spoil the surprise. And I was right. He was happy as a child when he saw it. He told me that he will put it together with his nephew, who is 9 male, who also loves that club. Well, the nephew came today and they were playing with it, talking about the club. Then my husband pulled me aside and asked if he should give it to his nephew because he liked it. I was like, what the hell? I told him, do whatever you want, I don't care. But he could see that I was pissed. He didn't re-gift it, but he promised the kid that he would get him the same. But the little guy didn't ask for it, and he didn't even tell us he likes it. After the nephew went home, I told my husband that I put so much effort into his gift when he is a literal nightmare for gifts, that I spent so much time to find him something mindful, and I'm really hurt that he even thought about re-gifting it to anyone. He got defensive, told me that he, the nephew, is a child and would love to have it, and that I'm massively overreacting. He also thinks that I'm emotional because of my pregnancy hormones. I'm 10 weeks pregnant with our second child. I don't think that I'm overreacting because my feelings are really hurt and his actions are shitty. I told him he could offer to buy him another one in the first place. Am I really overreacting, or is this a shitty thing to even think about? In the comments, Elix Fictitious says, that is so ungrateful and thoughtless. I'd be pissed, but at least he asked you first instead of just gifting it. That demonstrates a bit of common sense. It might help in future to have a discussion about what gifting should be like going forward, given that he's already difficult and didn't seem to appreciate your effort even when you got it right. Does he care about gifts? It might be easier to compromise on giving him only money or food. OP says, well, it makes the situation kinda better, but I'm still pissed. He likes gifts, but he's kinda difficult. Like he only wears X brand of clothes, only Y perfumes, Z books, etc. So the solution would be to always give him the same stuff, which I don't like. He doesn't want to take money from me, and when I asked him to try something in the store, he doesn't feel like it. He really liked this one, so I'm even more pissed that he wanted to give it away. Net Junkie asks, does he want gifts? Does he expect them? I'm really hard to buy for, so my wife knows I don't expect gifts. Go make me a pie or something that I'll love. No need to put effort into buying me something that I may or may not want anyway. OP says, well, a few months ago he got a hoodie from his sister. I know he loved it, and it fits him like a glove. Later, he told me not to wash it because he might re-gift it to someone else. I was like, why would you do it if you like it? Also, he's a big and tall guy. He doesn't have any friend or family member his size, so like, who are you even going to gift it to? He wears it now, and said he would regret it if he gave it to someone else. Freely Ouija Board says, this tells me a lot. First of all, it's obvious you each have a different emotional circuitry around gift giving, which is normal. I grew up in a family that loved through materialism and put our heart and soul into gifts. We also got our sense of worthiness, love, and appreciation from the recipient's reaction. I have felt the devastation of someone regifting something that I got them, and it's a horrible feeling for sure. Explore your own emotions and expectations around gifts and keep communicating how you feel to him. And he needs to listen and understand how hurtful it is to you. At the same time, he has his own issues. My spouse came from a poorer culture where most consumer goods simply weren't available. Christmas was an orange and handmade socks, and you liked it. Love was about providing for people and helping each other survive. Cue the marriage drama when they weren't as emotive and dramatic and excited about the gifts that I put a lot of thought into, and I received boring practical gifts that were on sale and reflected their interests and idea of good provision, not mine. After over a decade, we both have deeper introspection, therapy, and better communication, and gifts have no pressure whatsoever. We often don't even give them anymore, but this was a huge shift from my culture of origin, and I had to work through my own feelings of not being appreciated or loved just because we had different expectations. There may be a clue in the fact that he would give away something practical like a sweatshirt that he loved that fit him perfectly. If he's quick to re-gift, he may have underlying feelings of unworthiness. Some people are raised that it's better to give than receive, and feel unworthy or selfish if they receive something beyond their habitual class. Subconsciously, they often sabotage efforts that make them feel like they are on the receiving end of charity. He may also have some hang-ups around materialism or having too much stuff. Maybe deep down, he feels like it's a child's toy, and he doesn't want to be seen as a child, but a good adult and father figure, the giver of toys, not the receiver. The best thing is for each of you to reflect on your feelings, convictions, and habits around giving and receiving, and their origins, and then share with each other how to define your relationship with gifts on your own terms. Throw out all you learned from your families and friends, and decide how you two specifically want to handle holidays in your relationship. And of course, explore deeper personal issues for which gifts are just the tip of the iceberg. You're young, those deep issues can end up solving a ton of problems if dealt with at the root. I'm actually on board with that one, because the sweater comment really did stand out. Why would he want to save that to re-gift if he doesn't know anyone in his life that is even remotely close to the same size as him? That leads me to believe that he thinks of himself as a giver and definitely not a receiver. I am not worthy of having these gifts because that is not my place as a man. It's sad that that is probably the case, at least from my biased point of view, but I don't think it's something that's impossible to work through. I think with some therapy and some honest and open communication about how you feel and why you feel these things, I think they could work through it. I really do think that he can learn to accept getting gifts and being open and clear about what kinds of gifts he's comfortable receiving, especially being someone that is so hard to buy gifts for. And now, onto the update. First of all, I want to thank you all for constructive comments. It helped me get a new perspective. Also, for those guys who called me weird and childish for feeling disrespected, yeah, your comments are shitty. Now, about the update. We talked this morning calmly. I told him how hurt I was when he dismissed my feelings and blamed my pregnancy hormones for them. I explained how I feel when he does that, and that I feel unappreciated, and that he doesn't care about my feelings, while I know he does. He apologized, and I know that it was genuine. He also admitted that his comment about my hormones was rude and unnecessary. He promised that he would be more considerate about my feelings. I apologized for telling him that he's a nightmare and for being passive-aggressive. He told me it's okay, and he wasn't mad for that. About the gift, last night he put it together and was almost late to his night shift. He told me he really loves it and didn't actually want to re-gift it, and then he told me a bit about his upbringing. His mother often re-gifted things that they were gifted, and even those he actually liked, and he hated it. They were not poor, but her policy was, why buy someone a gift when you can re-gift something that you already got? She gave away his stuff until he moved out. Now he feels guilty when he keeps something, even when he likes it, and he knows why that is happening. I remember the time when his mum stayed with us to help while I was postpartum. She was actually helpful, but she also tried to give away some of our stuff to others, and I was really pissed. Like, what gives you the right to give away my shit? I grew up poor, but my parents never pulled shit like this, and when we liked something, we kept it. You know those fancy chocolate boxes that are passed around? Well, we ended up eating them. Meanwhile, we don't give gifts to my mother-in-law anymore because we know that she is going to re-gift them. We just give her money. I told my husband that we will go shopping for his birthday, and he will choose his own gift, just to make sure it's something he likes and will actually use. The stadium is now displayed with his other football stuff. Edit. Sorry for not mentioning, but he gave his nephew gifts yesterday. He bought him new shoes because he had good grades, and also new shoes for his little sister, who doesn't go to school yet. He also gave him some money for his upcoming school trip, so I don't think giving him the puzzle set was necessary, at least not on the same day. In the comments, Similar Shame says, quote, his mother often re-gifted things they were gifted, even those he actually liked, and he hated it. Ah, I grew up with parents like this too, and I went the complete other way. I will accept any gift given to me and will stash it away in my hoard, and I will bite anyone who tries to touch them. And everyone knows not to touch my things. How nice, a mother-in-law who wants to look good by giving gifts, but is too cheap to buy them, so she steals other people's stuff. I dated a guy like that once. He always wanted to be the hero, but he had very little to offer himself, so he kept offering up other people to help without asking them. Voluntelling someone they will be doing work for someone else is super easy for the person offering someone else's time and money. Complete entry says, rage. I spent a lot of my childhood coming home from school to stuff missing. My grandmother would say, you didn't need it. My entire library of books slowly depleted, later found out that she donated or sold them. And Material Ad replies, I feel so angry for you. It's a real trauma that you never forget. The complete disregard by a supposedly caring adult in your life. I still remember my father giving away my beloved Bugs Bunny stuffed softie. Be well. Damn, I didn't know that this was a universal experience. Sorry about that, besties. You deserved to have your childhood stuff and not just have it disappear on you. In my experience of this, that stuff would disappear, but my memory was really bad at the time, or something was going on that, like, I wouldn't really register that things were just disappearing sometimes. So said object would be gone, and then weeks later, I'd be like, wait up, where'd that go? Why did my Thomas the Tank Engine set just disappear one day? It was right there in the middle of my room, and now it's gone. What happened to that? God, who doesn't love having a core childhood memory brought right back up? So I get it. It really sucks. And I hope that OP's husband can undo some of that trauma from his mother just gifting everything of his that he loved and cherished as a child. Thank you for the story, OP. I hope you two continue to grow from this point forward. And that's all I have for you today, guys. I do hope you enjoyed. If you did, let me know what you thought of it in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.